Hi there. Welcome to Hooks and Ladders. My name is Blair Packham,
And my name is Allister Bradley.
and we're here to talk about songs and songwriting and strategies for making your songs better. That's the whole idea, right, Allister?
That's the whole idea.
You know, it's funny. I've known you a long time. I don't think I ever call you Al. It's always
You
full
can.
name.
You can
Yeah.
call me Al.
Walked into that one. Um, what I'd really like to talk about is why we write songs. Sometimes I ask myself that in an anguished tone late at night. Why? Why do we write songs?
Well, a lot of songwriters will tell you it's because they can't not write songs.
There is that. Elvis Costello talks about how he can't turn it off. How when he's having a conversation with someone, he's thinking, oh, I should put that in my notebook. When they say something, a phrase that he finds interesting or an idea that so you can't turn it off. But why? And that is certainly true for many people, including me, I would say. But why? Why else? Why do we write songs? What's the point?
Well, some would say that it's to tell a story.
Right. Absolutely. You might have a story, a true to life story that you want to tell, a story, something that happened to your family, in your family, something that happened to you, something you wish had happened to you, something you heard about. Might be personal, might be fiction. Who knows? But yeah, to tell a story, a narrative that goes from A to B to C, etc. Um, yeah, that's a perfectly good reason to write a song. All of these are good reasons, by the way. Why else?
Why else? Well, because we just have a need to express ourselves, don't we?
Hmm.
I have something to say.
I think human beings are programmed, so to speak, with the need to make things, to build things. That's why we have, craft stores, Michael's and Hobby Lobby and so forth. And people want to make stuff. And songwriting certainly is, comes under that heading of making stuff. You're making something that previously didn't exist. Hopefully you're making something that is new and it's fresh. Sometimes people don't do that, and they don't. They don't see anything wrong with that. I'm not sure I see anything wrong with it so much as I'm more excited by songs that are saying something fresh and new. But yeah, to express ourselves, our own feelings about life. um, Love, that's a big topic for a lot of people.
Well, and there's
I,
and
I'm,
there's another one that comes to mind, and
yeah,
that's a lot of songwriters will agree that what they write in their songs and why they write their songs has a lot to do with their own therapy for themselves.
right. That is certainly true for me in the sense that whatever I write about, um, when I write about it in a way that I'm happy with, which granted is I'm not always fully, I'm mostly not happy with any of my songs ever, but I'm happy enough to perform them or record them or whatever. The whatever I've written about helps me clarify how I feel about my own life and about life going forward.
And I do that, and I feel it can be very cathartic. It can be very helpful to me.
Hmm.
But I'm going to throw the question back at you because everything we've talked about so far, all these reasons for writing a song, they have something in common, and they're missing something in common. And I think if I throw that question back to you, I think you'll know what it is that they're missing.
I think they're missing the receiver, the connection. It's one thing to be the transmitter and transmit the story or the emotion, the thought, the therapeutic expression, the self-expression. But you really need to have a receiver. Otherwise, why perform your songs live at all? Why not just have the idea, think, that'd be a good song, and then never express it out loud? Um, as somebody said, ideas are a dime a dozen, um, but implementing them, that's rare. And that's the important part. Well, why would that be important? Because you're connecting with other human beings. So if a songwriter says, I don't care about the audience, I just don't know if I believe them. I don't care what the audience thinks. I'm not writing for the audience. I don't know if I believe them. I'm not saying that they are tailoring what they write to please another audience, but I am saying they are longing for that connection. Maybe it's completely on their terms. In other words, they're not going to follow the standard approaches to songwriting. They're going to do it completely differently in a brand new way. And maybe as a result of that, they'll have a smaller audience than somebody who might have a huge audience because they followed all the so-called rules of songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I think we're looking for that human connection, that emotional connection.
Yeah, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with us writing songs that serve a purpose for our own selves. But those wouldn't be the songs that we would choose to stand up on a stage and sing to a crowd if they're not going to invoke that same kind of emotional connection, that same kind of emotional response in our listeners. If our listeners are going to sit there and ask themselves, why am I listening to this song? Why should I care about this song? What does this song do for me?
Right.
Then that's one of those songs that a songwriter can keep for themselves and be very happy that they've written and get their own joy out of it privately, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you describe the listener as sitting there asking, why am I listening to this song and so forth. At least that listener is engaged. The worst, it would be even worse, much worse, if the listener were bored and distracted. And instead of even asking themselves those questions, why should I care about this? They're thinking, oh yeah, I've got to get bananas when I go to the grocery store. And also I should get some apples as well, because, I like to fill up the fruit bowl on the dining room table. And doesn't it look nice on the dining room table when there's fresh fruit in it? And instead of thinking about the song that's being played for them, the heart that is pouring out its emotion. So I think at another talk, I think at another time, another Hooks and Ladders episode, let's call it that, it'd be great to talk about the idea of art versus entertainment and where those things overlap in a, if you can imagine a Venn diagram of those things overlapping, because I think they do. I mean, I think, for instance, David Bowie was an incredible entertainer, but he was also an incredible artist. And probably in his case, the art overtook the entertainment aspect more than, say, somebody like Neil Diamond, who has written some incredible songs, but is really, even at his advanced age of whatever he is, 120, he's an entertaining guy. He's about the show, and it's about show business. So I think we can talk about that at a different time, but I do believe that at the heart, no matter what kind of song you're writing, you're trying to connect with other human beings, and you do that through emotion. I have realized that if I can make somebody feel something with my songs, that's a successful song.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter that it's not, topping the charts or, as the theme song on the end credits song in a blockbuster movie. If it's making somebody feel something, then I'm doing my job. And I think that's a great goal for songwriters to aspire to.
Absolutely. I don't even know how to put the cherry on top of that. It's like you said, it's about connecting with the shared emotional experience between people. We've all had a chance to feel pretty much any emotion that we could name. And so we know what it feels like to be lonely. We know what it feels like to be loved. And in conversation, in sharing with another human being, we can feel that emotion. We can share it with somebody else. We can find fulfillment in that connection.
That's right.
Person.
Yeah, it's funny how we're all individuals, like snowflakes, but we're also very much the same as we have shared experiences, no matter how individual we actually are. And songwriting is a great way of putting that across.
It's the challenge of trying to bottle that emotion, trying to, I feel something. How can I express this in such a way that you can consume my expression and feel that same emotion? That's the challenge. That's why we write a song.
That's why we write a song. All right, we're going to talk about other things to do with songs, but now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can get into the nitty-gritty a little bit more. That is why we write a song, to connect with other human beings.